This page is the front cover for the Nintendo Space World 2000 Handbook. The title is prominently displayed at the top as Nintendo Space World 2000 and also includes the phrase, "Let's go to the Makuhari." The cover features a vibrant image of Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, and Wario, all encircling a large yellow star. At the bottom of the page are fields to fill in for name, address, and email. It is also noted as the NSW2K Handbook. This page is a Makuhari Messe guide providing travel directions and information. It details train routes and timetables from Tokyo Station and Kaihin Makuhari Station to Makuhari Messe. The page includes a map of the surrounding area showing the location of International Exhibition Hall 911 and other landmarks like BMW, Jasco, and various hotels. It mentions that the walk from Junior Kaihin Makuhari Station to the venue takes about 10 minutes and advises attendees to prepare for sunny weather and large crowds, suggesting sun protection and caution when moving through buildings to avoid causing inconvenience to others. This page is about the rules for attending Nintendo Space World 2000. It encourages attendees to come with friends and family for a more enjoyable experience. The rules emphasize important points such as heat stroke prevention, recommending hats and water bottles, and being considerate of others by avoiding littering and disruptive behavior. Attendees are also reminded to be careful with their belongings and wear comfortable clothing like backpacks. For those unable to attend Space World, the page mentions that the editorial staff will create a special notebook. Readers can participate by sending in postcards with page checks and their experiences to be included in this notebook. 10 lucky people will be chosen by lottery to receive a completed notebook. The page also introduces the Space World 2000 Handbook as a venue guidebook. Comic strips illustrate how attendees can use the handbook, suggesting it be given to children as a safety measure against getting lost, and that attaching a string can make it more convenient. The handbook is also presented as a way to experience Space World virtually, even during summer vacation, and is a way for 64 Dream readers to recognize each other at the event. This page is a venue map for Nintendo Space World 2000. Advertising the newest games and hardware in a spacious hall. The map highlights several zones, including a Celebi Present Corner, where attendees with a special ticket can receive the mythical Pokemon Celebi for their games. There's also an event zone promising Pokemon costume shows and appearances by the character Mysterious Trainer Zoner. The GBC Experience Zone is featured for playing new Game Boy Color titles. The map also indicates the locations of a meeting place, entrance gate, an N64 Experience Zone with 140 seats, and the Game Boy Color Experience Zone with 139 seats. A side note mentions that, while the popular Smash Bros. Tournament from the previous event is not happening this time, there will be exhibition matches for Pokemon Stadium Gold and Silver instead. Finally, there's a section encouraging attendees to write down any secrets they discover at the venue. This page is from the Nintendo Space World 2000 pamphlet and gives attendees advice for the event and highlights key areas. It advises attendees to be mindful of weather conditions, particularly wind and rain, and to prepare for potential waiting times, suggesting bringing reading material to pass the time. The page then acts as a map and checklist for different zones within the venue, including the Game Boy Advance Experience Zone with 140 stations, and the N64 Experience Zone. Other highlighted areas are the Mobile Corner, the Merchandise Corner, the Drink Corner, Toilets, a location to meet Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto, the 64 Dream Editors area, and a character costume meet and greet area. Each of these sections has a checkbox for attendees to mark off as they visit them. Nintendo showcased 3 upcoming N64 titles. First, Tsumi Tabatsu, Hoshi no Keishusha, a 2-player gun action game with a deep storyline and fast-paced action, developed by Nintendo. Second, Custom Robo V2, a robot action RPG promising engaging customization and battles, also developed by Nintendo. Finally, Furai no Shiren 2, Oni Shurai, Shirenju, a 3D dungeon RPG described as highly addictive and a major release for autumn, scheduled for September 27th. This game allows easy dungeon exploration in its 3D setting. This page highlights several games featured at Nintendo Space World 2000, starting with Perfect Dark, described as a gun action game in the vein of GoldenEye 007, emphasizing puzzle elements and intense 4-player battles against evil plots as a special agent. Next is Animal Leader, provisional title, a mysterious title that had been announced but was without news, now finally revealed as playable, questioning if players can survive in an animal world. Rockman DSH Heart of Steel Adventure, known internationally as Mega Man Legends, is making its debut on the N64, a port from the PlayStation title, promising action shooting gameplay. Animal Crossing, provisional title, is introduced as a completely new type of communication game, inviting players to enjoy a relaxing life in an animal forest, interacting with animal villagers. Mario Party 3 is presented as the definitive party game, with over 70 minigames, perfect for family fun. Lastly, Banjo-Tooie, provisional title, referred to as Banjo-Kazooie's Great Adventure 2, announces the return of the iconic duo on the N64 for another action-packed adventure. This page showcases 5 Nintendo 64 games. First is Mickey's Speedway USA, tentative title, a racing game featuring popular Mickey Mouse characters. Next is WWF WrestleMania 2000, a wrestling game based on the popular WWF franchise, set to release on September 15th. Eco Delta is presented as a simulation game where battles and maps are limitless, featuring strategic gameplay set in an ocean environment. Gendai Daisen Ryaku Ultimate War is another simulation game, positioned as the pinnacle of strategy SLG games, set in a modern warfare setting. Lastly, Dance Dance Revolution, featuring Disney characters, tentative title, is a music game, finally bringing dance games to the N64, and is anticipated for its selection of songs to dance to. The page also points out the absence of any 64DD titles in the list, expressing surprise and a little shock at this omission. This page is all about the Game Boy Advance, highlighting it as the big news of the show. It talks about the excitement around the new handheld and teases upcoming software for it. The page features sections like expectations for the Game Boy Advance from readers, mentioning hopes for it to be fun, represent the 21st century of gaming, and have many game releases every month. The page then previews 4 games for the Game Boy Advance. First up is Momotaro Festival, described as an RPG and minigame collection by Hudson. It showcases the beautiful graphics of the game and its minigame elements. Next is Mario Kart Advance, tentative title, a racing game by Nintendo, promoted as a highly anticipated new title. Following that is Rockman XE, tentative title, an action game by Capcom, also known internationally as Mega Man Battle Network. This is highlighted as a network-era Rockman game. Lastly, there's Golden Sun, an RPG by Nintendo, advertised as a new fantasy RPG and a key RPG title for the Game Boy Advance aimed at fans. This page showcases several upcoming games for the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. First up is Napoleon, an action game from Nintendo where Napoleon leads his troops in battle. It's described as a new type of war game with strategy elements. Next is Silent Hill AGB, a text-adventure game from Konami. It promises to bring the horror of Silent Hill to the Game Boy Advance. Following that is Golf Master AGB, another Konami title, this time a sports game focused on golf. It aims to be a deep and engaging golf experience. Konami also presents Konami YY Racing Advance, a racing game featuring popular Konami characters. It looks to be a cartoonish and fun racing title. The page then highlights the Game Boy Color, boasting over 60 titles available and still going strong. It mentions the impressive number of units sold worldwide, emphasizing its continued popularity. Donkey Kong 2001 from Nintendo is an action game starring Donkey Kong in the 21st century. This game features beautifully rendered graphics for the system. This was released internationally as Donkey Kong Country. Lastly, there is Kaijin Zuner, a mystery adventure game from Nintendo. This game, featuring the character Kaijin Zuner, is stated to be very popular with children. This document details a checklist of games expected to be playable at Nintendo Space World 2000, categorized by platform: Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, and Game Boy Color. The Nintendo 64 section highlights titles like Mega Man Legends 2, Animal Crossing, Mario Party 3, and Banjo-Tooie. The Game Boy Advance section lists times Mega Man Battle Network, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Golden Sun. The Game Boy Color section includes titles like Dance Dance Revolution, GB2*, and various puzzle and mini-game compilations. The page also suggests a broader range of games, with some obscured or represented by question marks, from publishers such as Konami, Capcom, and Nintendo. Attendees were encouraged to use the checklist during the event. This page is titled Game Boy Advance Big Prediction. It's from September 1999 and discusses the upcoming Game Boy Advance console, referred to by its development codename Mobile 21. The page encourages readers to think about and design their ideal GBA. It presents the specifications of the Game Boy Advance as announced in September 1999, noting these are subject to change and more details will be in the next issue. The specs include a 32-bit RISC CPU, reflective TFT color LCD screen, a resolution of 240 by 160 dots, 65,000 colors, dimensions of approximately 80 mm by 115 mm by 25 mm, weighing about 140 grams, powered by 3 AA batteries for 20 hours of playtime, with a planned release in August 2000. The page then invites readers to draw their own GBA designs and imagine desirable features, humorously listing ideas like voice-activated power, connectivity to Dolphin, likely GameCube codename, a clock and calendar function, drop-proof durability, and even features to bring happiness. It also asks readers to consider what colors the console body might be, suggesting options like black, blue, red, yellow, white, gold, silver, skeleton, pink, and red and black. Finally, there are 2 evaluation sections. One for readers to rate their imagined GBA based on design, naming, coolness, desirability, and purchase intent. The other section evaluates the actual Game Boy Advance in terms of color, shape, texture, buttons, and overall desirability. This page is titled Dolphin, Tentative Name, Big Prediction. It talks about the Dolphin console, which had no major announcements at this event, and encourages readers to imagine what it will be like. It mentions the partnership with Matsushita Electric and how news of this partnership spread worldwide. The text also refers to the Dolphin specs that were announced in 1999, noting they were complex, but it was understood it would use DVD. The page then presents the speculated specifications of Dolphin from around May 1999, listing details about the CPU, graphics, memory, and media. There's a section inviting readers to draw their imagined Dolphin console and consider desirable features such as 6.4DD connectivity, a soft-touch feel, eye-activated power, compactness, and the ability to bring happiness. It asks readers to imagine the console's body color, suggesting options like black, gray, two-tone, white, metallic colors such as silver and gold, skeleton, titanium, and red and black. The Dolphin Still Dream Check section contains a questionnaire about the release period, price, media type, memory card, simultaneous launch titles, and whether it will connect to the 6.4DD with yes or no options. Finally, there's a section titled Actually, Dolphin Seen Only by the Press, with blank spaces to fill in details about the color, shape, type, feel, buttons, whether it's a must-have item, and personal thoughts about the console. The next page showcases the event and merchandise corner guide for the Nintendo Space World 2000. The event schedule spans 3 days, from the 25th to the 27th, and includes events such as Pokemon Stadium Gold/Silver Exhibition Match, Mario Tennis National Tournament Finals, Mysterious Person Zoner Special Live, Pokemon and Donkey Costume Show. Attendees could collect happiness seals at these events. The merchandise corner features a variety of goods, primarily focusing on games like Chunsoft's Mystery Dungeon, Shiren the Wanderer 2, and Pokemon. Merchandise includes Shiren the Wanderer, 2 items such as plush toys, sweets, stationery, and character seals. Pokemon merchandise, including plush toys, Pichu Brothers, figurines, accessories, badges, CDs, stationery, and magnets. Mario and Kirby themed straps and key holders, alongside items featuring Waddle Dee and King Day. Card Hero trading card game start sets, and booster packs. This page introduces Dream Super Picross as a fun activity to pass the time, especially while waiting. It explains the rules of Picross puzzles, mentioning that numbers indicate the consecutive filled squares, with at least one empty square between number groups. 3 Picross puzzles are featured, each with a question to help guess the image once solved. What kind of mask is it? Loves rocks. And do you know what character it is? The page gives a hint for solving Picross puzzles, suggesting to start with the larger numbers as a guide. This page is about getting autographs from famous people that you might see at the venue, but it reminds you not to be too pushy. It has a checklist of people you might see and meet, including Mr. Miyamoto, Mr. Honama, President Yamauchi, Mr. Ima, Ito Ashura, Mr. Karasawa, Mr. Iwata, Mr. Okamoto, Luigi in Costume, Konami Companion, Mysterious Sonar, Mr. Takahashi Ku, and Mr. Takahashi Hidego. This page is about a sticker exchange activity. It is titled, Let's Get Friend Seals. The instructions state to write your name on the provided seals from the magazine and exchange them with people you meet at the venue. There are boxes to stick these seals. It also mentions a Celebi Get seal, where if you get Celebi at the venue, you can make it into a seal using a pocket printer and stick it on. There are sections to note your target number of friends to get, and a space to write down the names of the people you became friends with. This page is a template for an NSW2K Dream Diary. It encourages users to record their fun memories of the day as a picture diary, asking if it has become a good memory of summer vacation. The template includes sections to fill in the date, day of the week, and weather. There's a reference to page P1 of the Editorial Department Proxy Travel Log. It also mentions that those who obtain this diary will receive a special picture diary drawn by Mr. Nakawe, and fans of Mr. Nakawe should check it out. This page presents a questionnaire from the October issue supplement of 64 Dream magazine, related to the NSW2K Handbook, which is about Nintendo Space World 2000. The survey asks attendees if they went to Space World 2000, and if so, on which day they attended. It requests participants to list 3 game titles they are interested in from the event. The questionnaire then asks about the Game Boy Advance, specifically if they plan to buy it upon release, and their interest in connectivity with mobile phone services. Moving on to Nintendo Space World itself, it asks if they would like to attend next year, if they would not go again, or if they would prefer it to be held in more local areas. Finally, the survey seeks opinions on the future direction of 64 Dream magazine, asking if it should focus on N64, GBA, Dolphin, GameCube, or maintain a balanced approach across all platforms. There is also a free space for general comments and feedback. This page is a questionnaire form from 64D Ream magazine, titled NSW2K Doki Doki Questionnaire. It's part of the Nintendo Space World 2000 Handbook. The form requests personal information, including name in furigana and kanji, date of birth, gender, age, full address with postal code, and telephone number. There are also sections to write your favorite lines and the names of your favorite people. The form includes the address of the 64D Ream editorial department in Tokyo, and a note to affix a 50 yen stamp. Luigi is illustrated on the bottom right of the page.